everyone, welcome back to Sham's Makeup Artistry. Today I would like to do like a first impression on a foundation that I actually got myself recently, and it's none other than the Makeup Forever. This is their Reboot Foundation. It's supposed to be a brightening, smoothing, firms, hydrate and evening out foundation. So this foundation was like recently released in the United States. So this foundation retails at $39. And there are about 23 shades available in this range of foundation. Well, so all this while, all these years, I have been in the shade Y445 when it comes to any Makeup Forever foundation. Except for the Matte Velvet foundation, I can't remember offhand which shade I was. But I was using that shade when my skin was a little bit more oilier during that time. So I decided to purchase the very same exact shade in this particular foundation. So I picked out the shade Y445. So a week before I made my purchase online, I actually walked into the store. But they did say that there was some delay and the foundation has not been launched at the store yet. Obviously, I came back home disappointed, but a week after that, I was able to make a purchase online. So I quickly just clicked on the shade Y445. I didn't even think. And the foundation kind of arrived at my home like after 2 days. I opened it up and then I put on the foundation just over my cheek area, and it was such a huge bummer. The foundation was so different. It was super red and it didn't match my skin tone at all, like not even a bit. Like this is Y445 in the stick version of foundation, which looks like this. So this has more of like a yellow undertone to it. So I'm much more a neutral kind of undertone person, but when it comes to Makeup Forever foundation, this is the best shade that I can get for myself. So I will definitely insert a picture of myself randomly applying the foundation on my chin area so that you can have a picture of it. And again, this is Y445 in the stick version. So in this foundation range, I had to switch my shade. My friend did mention for her it worked pretty well, but for me it did not. So I don't know what's about it. It doesn't really tally for everyone. So you probably have to go to the store and then get yourself matched, probably on your own, because I personally do not trust Sephora matching it for me. I do it all by myself. So I picked out the shade Y434, which says that it's a golden caramel for lighter skin with neutral undertones. So let's just open up the foundation. And then it comes in a bottle packaging. And of course it comes with a pump. So it does claim that it's an all-day wearing foundation. It's a 24 hours foundation and it provides hydration for 24 hours. So let's just get into trying out this foundation. I'm just going to share with you guys my thoughts on it, and I'm going to apply a face primer, and I'm going to use my Tatcha Silk Canvas. So I'm just going to fast forward this part of it. I'm going to use my Tati Beauty, which I'm still loving it. But I'm not going to apply my foundation with this because probably not many of you are using this Blendful yet, but I do love it. So with this foundation, I'm going to use my... Okay. I have like crazy amount of stuff in front of me and everything else falls off the table. So I'm going to apply this particular foundation on this side of my face, or whichever side of my face, with a brush, and on the other side of my face I'm going to do the beauty blender. I bet that I would like the brush version, but let's just do it. So I'm going to get a pump of this foundation. I've heard a lot of reviews on this foundation. It does say that it wears very much like skin. So I'm just going to take one pump of this foundation, dab my brush and dab it on my skin. It does have like a very strong scent to it. Like, what scent? Like, it kind of like has like a plant scent to it, if I'm not wrong. So you can see that this is the closest shade that I could get myself. So I hope that it matches pretty well after I put on my makeup. With one pump, I do not really see that it's like giving me any coverage. So it kind of gave me like a very good base, but obviously if you peep through, you can see my marks. But if you look at me just like that and you don't go that close to me, you can't see those marks. So it kind of gave me a nice base. So let's try 2 pump of it on this side again, just around this area. It doesn't feel that you're wearing any foundation on the skin. It doesn't feel that you're putting on anything except for the center of it. It does look a lot like skin, so I did not really use up my second pump. So my beauty blender is damp. I definitely need to use my beauty blender damp. I do not like to use it dry because I do have like a combination to dry skin. So 1 pump right here, and then my beauty blender, you see right away it soaks in the product. So I don't know how much we'll get on my skin, so we shall see. Well, I feel like it pretty much applied the same. Yep, I don't really see a huge difference, but I believe that this side of my face it feels like it's blended in even more. I kind of feel like it applied the same, but this side of my this side of my face feels like it's blended even more nicely. So we're going to continue with that on this area. With this foundation, I personally feel that people will know that you do have like a foundation, like a base, but it kind of looks very light on the skin. It doesn't look heavy at all. So I'm going to do the same, my second pump on this area of my face. I'm not sure. I think I prefer the beauty blender with this foundation, which I don't really often feel that way because I really love my brush. This side looks super blended, so I'm just gonna blend in the foundation on this side too, just to finish it off. So I really love how the foundation actually wears on my skin, and obviously it feels very tacky. I personally feel with this particular foundation, you need to set in your foundation with a translucent powder or whatever powder that you personally prefer. I personally like using a translucent powder, so I'm going to finish up my entire face makeup and then I will come back and share my thoughts on it. So here's how the foundation looks like after I have applied my face makeup. So I've kept it at a very minimal makeup kind of look today. So this is how the foundation actually wears on my skin. I still feel that even though I've set the foundation in, it still feels a little bit tacky on my skin because I randomly just like pat the powder in. I do not bake the powder in because again, I do have like a combination to dry skin. So whenever I do like a baking technique, it ends up looking very dry, and sometimes when I just dab the powder, obviously it feels much more stickier because it's not like really holding the makeup in that much. However, I do really like this foundation. I like how my skin looks like with this foundation. It looks very natural on the skin. It looks very fresh on the skin. I'm actually also wearing and trying out a new concealer on the face point that I particularly highlight my face area. So I'll be sharing an update about that as well. Probably in a get ready with me a video, which hopefully I'm trying to film it really soon. But with this particular foundation, I really feel like I like my skin. It looks just like my skin. I do notice that I still see my skin through. I do have like a couple of spots on this area, which I'm totally fine about it. I want my skin to look like my skin. So I personally do really like this foundation. The shade range does look a tad little bit yellow on my skin, but I'm totally fine about it because I feel that this is the best match I could match myself to. So I particularly am not a person that try to get like few shades in the same foundation range and then use it over my face area, because that's going to be super pricey and it's not practical at all. But if you kind of want to know my first impression, my thoughts on this particular foundation, I would say that this is a beautiful foundation. If you're a person who loves natural looking skin, you want something hydrating to your face area, I would personally recommend this. But if you have like an oily skin, you may want to put a test to it, because it's much more I personally feel that this would suit like a normal combination skin more than like totally the very end of oily skin. I would say like it will still suit those of you who have like dryness here and then and you get oily. So I do have like an oily T-zone, but personally I feel that this foundation would work for me, because over the other areas of my face they still feel very dry. So I would personally recommend this foundation. And if you're someone who likes like a tinted moisturizer kind, instead of going for a tinted moisturizer, you can definitely try out this one. So I hope that you found my very first impression demo kind of a review being helpful for you guys to decide if you want to pick out this foundation. To my very next one, make sure to stay beautiful inside and out, and do not forget to give me a thumbs up. Goodbye.